no money, no connections. I didn't think someone like me could ever possibly make it to the WWE.
What is your favorite holiday?
I don't have a favorite anything. My opinion on things are always changing.
You got killed by Chucky.
That I would get to be on the Chucky series. It was such a pipe dream come true.
Didn't you get discovered at a gym?
I got discovered at a Hooters.
Oblivion is such a badass movie.
You know, no one's ever kicked out of it ever, right?
We should ask about Rhea. When's this going to happen?
The Liv Morgan revenge tour is very much on.
Liv Morgan, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Is this barbed wire around your neck?
It is.
You're right. That is dangerous.
You know?
I don't know.
We like to keep you on your toes.
How's the week been for you?
It's been good. I've been enjoying myself. I've had kind of an easy week. Lots of appearances, lots of community work, lots of spending time with you guys. You know how Mania Week goes. It's the best week of the whole entire year. So I think we're all just having a good time, losing our voices, tired, but lots of energy.
It's like Christmas if you're a wrestler or a wrestling fan.
Yeah, it's Christmas. It's like Christmas and the New Year. It's like all the best holidays
All
wrapped in one. Your
combined
birthday.
together. Yeah. What is your favorite holiday? That was a long
You know, I feel like I don't have a favorite anything. I feel like I don't have a favorite anything. Let me think.
Favorite color? Favorite
I like
food?
Halloween. I like Halloween. I lied. I love Halloween.
You don't have a favorite anything? A favorite movie, favorite food, favorite color?
I feel like I'm like always ever changing, and my opinion on things are always changing, and my likes and dislikes are always changing. And I don't know if that's just a me thing. Do y'all ever like feel that way? Like you have a set something, and then I don't know. I guess it's just part of growing and evolving. But my favorites and my likes and dislikes are always changing.
I got so excited when you returned at Royal Rumble.
Thank you. Me too.
And they made it such a moment, right? Because it was the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And then there was a pause. And then your music hit.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, she's back.
Yeah.
How good did it feel being back?
It was great. I mean, I had a very pretty serious injury that we kind of even haven't really disclosed the details of.
Would you like to get into it?
Yeah, we can get into it. So basically, I dislocated my shoulder.
In a match?
Yeah, with Rhea Ripley. With Rhea Ripley, I dislocated my shoulder, and I went and got an MRI. The MRI showed a labral tear. I don't know if you guys know anything about MRIs, but they're only 60% accurate. I did not know that. And so pretty much they're like, hey, we recommend getting surgery because of the dislocation. So you're going to dislocate it again, whether it's in 5 years, whether it's WrestleMania next year, like you're going to have another dislocation. And so I sat around with it because I really didn't want to miss time, obviously, but I also didn't want to have this injury again. So I opted for the surgery, but luckily I did because, like I said, MRIs are only 60% accurate. So when my surgeon opened up my little shoulder, he was like, whoa, bicep tear, rotator cuff tear, labral tear. And so I had all these extra tears and rips in my shoulder that we wouldn't have known about had I not gotten the surgery. So if I chose to just rehab, I wouldn't have healed properly, and we wouldn't have known why. And so I got the surgery, but luckily I honestly forgot I've had the surgery. I feel normal. I feel great in the ring. I only remember when I see my suture marks. So it was pretty crazy.
How much pain were you in at that time?
It hurt so bad that it didn't even hurt, if that makes sense. Like, the pain was so overwhelming that I couldn't even really process it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now pain-free?
Pain-free, full rotation, full mobility, work on getting my full strength back. I'm a little bit, my right is a lot stronger than my left right now, but I'm feeling great. It moves great. Yeah, so I'm happy. I got very, very, very lucky because shoulders are a little bit iffy, I've asked a lot of people, and some people with shoulder surgery, they said, like, it kind of feels worse than it did before. And I'm very, very, very lucky that mine feels 100% normal.
Yes, please clap.
Thank you for the one clap.
Now a full room of clapping. Do you have a full range of motion now?
Full range of
Okay,
motion.
great.
So luckily also I was hypermobile. So when they tightened my shoulder, I lost a little bit, but because I was so flexible, I don't even really notice. So it was cool.
This is going to be a strange sentence to say, but I got so excited when I saw that you got killed by Chucky.
Me too. Honestly, I never thought ever in my life that I would get to be on the Chucky series, get murdered by Chucky so gruesomely. It was such like a pipe dream come true, something that I genuinely did not think could ever conceivably happen. And it was so graphic, I didn't even think we'd allow it to happen.
How did it come together?
So I grew up just loving Chucky. Like, I loved wrestling, I love Chucky. And so I saw that they were working on a series, and so I had asked WWE, like, hey, do you think we can just reach out and see if there's any kind of way that I can be involved, even if it's just like being on set and just like watching on set. And so WWE reached out to Don Mancini, the creator of Chucky, and I had a Zoom call with him that week, and he wrote me into the show, and it was just as easy as that, and I had such a great experience. They treated me like family. And it was cool. I love Chucky. We have a great relationship despite the murder.
We'll get back to the conversation in just a second, but if you've been listening to the audio version of the podcast on Apple or Spotify, you know that I recently got back into the hobby of collecting sports cards. Got quite a few wrestling cards here, but one of the tough things about ripping packs is there's zero transparency on what's actually available. Like, you don't know what the hit rates are. It's really just a shot in the dark. That all changes with slab packs from arenaclub.com. It's the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates for each one. So when I buy slab packs on Arena Club, I finally feel like I know what I'm getting. So check this out. I bought the football slab pack with 3 cards inside. The very first one, look at that, boom! Joey Cool, Joe Burrow's rookie card, and it's a perfect 10 gem mint. After your pulls are revealed, they're immediately placed in your vault for safekeeping or for trading and selling, and you can have them officially graded by Arena Club, like my perfect 10 gem mint. Arena Club slab packs are revolutionizing the repack game with their transparency, and right now they're hooking you up. When you go to arenaclub.com/CVV, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. So if that's a $400 slab pack, boom, that's $40 right back in your pocket when you go to arenaclub.com/CVV. 10% off your first purchase.
What's the direction they give you? You know, you're gonna get stabbed, but what's the direction they give you for?
None, just die. None. It was just
there's lots of ways to die, though.
Be live and then just get murdered. And obviously, I had never died before, so I didn't know what that looked like. So I just tried to just like be in the moment and just just die.
It was very, very convincing. An excellent death.
Thank you.
Let's hope that there's no,
Yeah, no more.
Yeah. When did you first fall in love with wrestling?
Ooh, when I was 5 years old. When I was very, very young. I have 4 older brothers, and so they loved wrestling. My father apparently was such a huge wrestling fan. He passed before I was born, so I didn't know that, and I never got to meet him, obviously. But my brothers kind of kept the love of wrestling alive in my family, and I finally got introduced to it, and I absolutely fell in love with it right away. I kind of grew up in like a chaotic household, and so when wrestling came on, it was like my couple hours of like pure escapism, when I know it's like cliche, but I loved anytime it was on, and I'd cry if I missed 1 minute.
Who were the people you really looked up to at that time?
Oh, I loved Lita. I loved the Hardy Boys. I loved Edge and Christian. I loved the Dudley Boys. I loved Shawn Michaels. I loved Triple H. I loved China. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Trish Stratus. I loved it all. I loved the art of it. I loved the physicality of it. I loved the stories, the characters. I just watched it and you just got lost in it, like I'm sure you guys all do.
At what point did you go, hey, this is actually something I might be able to do for a living?
I always had hoped, but I never really thought I'd be able to do it. I mean, I grew up poor with no money, no connections. I didn't think someone like me could ever possibly make it to the WWE. And so it was always just like kind of a pipe dream like Chucky, like, yeah, I would love to do this, but realistically, I'm probably not going to be able to do it. And so I have pinch me moments every single day because I got to, fulfill my craziest childhood dream.
And didn't you get discovered at a gym?
I got discovered at a Hooters.
Hooters does have the best wings.
The very best wings, and it's always fresh, never frozen.
So you're working at Hooters.
Yep.
You're bringing out some wings or some pitchers of beer or whatever. And then how do you get discovered?
Okay, so with a little backstory. So everyone at Hooters knew I loved wrestling. I'd be doing my bar shifts. I'd put WWE on the TV. I'd be serving with WWE on the TV. Like, everyone kind of knew it was my thing. And apparently, before my time, there was a wrestler who will not be named that used to manage this specific Hooters. So anytime they came around in town, they'd go to Hooters. Me being the big WWE fan that I was, I saw this wrestler come into Hooters, and I knew who they were exactly, and I introduced myself. And my manager was like, hey, we have this girl, she just like loves wrestling, and because you're a wrestler, like, maybe, you know, talk to her. So I talked to this wrestler for a while, and I was like, I want to wrestle. And they're kind of just like, haha, yeah. And I kind of just spit all my wrestling knowledge to them, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, okay, like, you really do love wrestling. So they introduced me to this man, Joe DeFranco. Joe DeFranco is like a world-renowned strength and conditioning coach. He only trains professional athletes, and he actually trains Triple H on a weekly basis. And so I went to his gym, and he threw me right in with his NFL guys. I had never worked out a day in my life before that. I didn't even know like what workout gear was. I think I wore like sweatpants and like a sports bra, and he's like, go. And I was like, okay. And so in my mind, this is like my WWE tryout, so I'm like giving it my all. And I worked out with him for a couple days, and I guess he just was like impressed by like my resilience. I don't know, because I'm like struggling through everything, but I like wouldn't quit. And so he reached out to WWE for me. It was like the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me, so shout out to Joe DeFranco. Reached out to WWE for me and was like, hey, we have this girl. I just think she's worth a look. And I had actually just missed the tryout camp, and they were like, we have another one in 6 months, so keep training with her, and then we'll fly her in. And so I trained with Joe DeFranco every single day for hours a day. I trained with him in the morning and then go to my Hooters shifts. And then my tryout finally came, and I was very well prepared. Not in wrestling, of course, because I had no wrestling training, but as far as like strength and conditioning, like I absolutely killed those cardio drills. And I got signed, and it was just like the craziest blessing in my whole entire life. It was bizarre.
And then you debuted in NXT.
I debuted in NXT as local competitor versus Eva Marie. It was overwhelming. I thought because I was a fan, I'd be great right away, and because I loved it so much, but it was so hard for me. I was very bad for a very, very, very long time, and also I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like, I'm going to save my family, you know, like I'm going to make it to WWE and I'm going to change their lives. And so I have all this pressure on me, so I feel like anything I'm doing wrong, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired, they're not going to give me a chance. It's taking me so long to catch on. But eventually I finally, you know, improved, and then steady improvement, and then yeah, it was a journey. It was a journey. It was hard. It was much harder than I thought.
But you're great in the ring now.
Oh, I mean, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was lots and lots and lots of training, lots of positive self-talk, lots of just trying to give myself the opportunity to see how great I can be.
When do you feel like you turned the corner and started getting much better?
Honestly, I feel like probably when I got called up to SmackDown. I feel like I don't know what it was. I think because in NXT I felt like I'm trying to make it to the next level, so I felt, I guess, very insecure because I felt like any mistake I made would enable me from making it to the next level. Then when I finally got called up, I didn't really have that fear anymore. And so, I don't know, I was able to flow better. I had like less pressure and like less fears. And I had, you know, the Riot Squad with me. I owe so much to Ruby and Sarah for kind of like taking me under their wing and guiding me and teaching me. And so I feel like around that time is when I really progressed. And also we were doing so many live events. It's like when you're doing so many reps, it's hard not to get better because we were working so much.
Do you still have the record for the quickest elimination?
No, I luckily lost that. I think Chelsea Green might be that record holder now.
I think hers is like 6 seconds and yours was 8?
Yeah. I think
8 seconds?
she beat me by a couple seconds, so I will gladly let her have that record.
Did you know your elimination was going to be that quick?
You never know. You never know. I mean, I went in there and I was like, woo, here I go. I saw Natty in a very compromisable position. I was like, all right, I'm going to get her out right away. Charged her, ran my little heart out, and she just like flipped me out. And I was like, holy shit. That did not go the way that I thought it was going to go.
I feel like things, especially on the main roster, really changed for you with Money in the Bank. Like,
in 2021 or 2022?
ooh, good point. What I mean, I would guess we start with 2021. Like,
Yeah.
how much did that change things for you?
A lot. I feel like at that point, it was probably the most opportunity I was given up to that point. I was getting promos in the ring. I was getting a lot of singles matches. They were kind of like building me. I remember during that time, Sonya Deville was the GM, and she would not let me into this match. And everyone, she was just like, we had qualifiers, and hold on. I think I'm confusing. So there was actually no qualifiers. They were letting people, she just was like, yeah, you could be in this match, you could be in this match. And then I was qualifying, winning matches, and she still wouldn't put me in this match. And I remember it was like week after week, I was having to prove myself, like, hey, please just give me the opportunity to put me in this match. And so I kind of had like this build leading into it. And then she finally let me in the match. And so I feel like there was kind of like the start of like the rise.
We'll get back to it in just a second. Big shout out to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And I've been telling you for a while how great NordVPN is at keeping me protected when I'm logged on to any Wi-Fi anywhere other than here at home. I mean, I was just reporting from London, and NordVPN came in clutch there. You can use it on your phone or your computer, and it's super fast. And I love that you can access content from 59 different countries just by changing your virtual location with one click. UFC 303 is coming up on June 29th. Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, and that UFC pay-per-view here in the US, it's gonna set you back $79.99. But if you change your virtual location to any of these countries on this list right here, you'll save yourself a few buckaroos. Head to nordvpn.com/CVV and check out the deal they have going on right now. For less than $3 a month, you'll be all set up and ready to go. They've also got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if NordVPN's not for you, it's all good. You're covered. nordvpn.com/CVV.
The cash in on Ronda.
Woo! The best night of my life.
Talk me through from the moment you woke up that day. What was that day like?
I just knew with like every fiber in my being that I had to pull this off. I was like, if it's not right now, I'm probably gonna never have another moment and opportunity like this. And so I was just ready and willing to do whatever it took to grab that briefcase and be the last one standing at the end of the night.
And then cash in.
I didn't think I was going to cash in. I was in Vegas. I was like, woo, I just won Money in the Bank. This is like the biggest victory in my whole entire life. I'm going to go celebrate. I'm going to go gamble. I'm going to go have some drinks. I'm going to celebrate my victory. And then I noticed that Ronda gets injured during the match. And I'm like, oh, man, should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? And I'm kind of having like this moment of like, what do I do? And then I finally was like, I'm going to go. And so I just, again, ran my little heart out. And this time it paid off, though.
Does this make the celebration then in Vegas even bigger? I mean, you go from being Money in the Bank winner to being
You know what's so
champion.
crazy is I didn't celebrate at all. I went to my room and I just held my briefcase and I just like sat there in silence. I could almost think about it and cry just because it was just like
the championship, not the briefcase, right? The championship.
Yeah, I just like really wanted to absorb it. I really wanted to absorb it, and so I just like sat there.
And is it like everything you've hoped for has now?
It was so much more. It was so much more. And also like I said, I was very bad for a very long time, and so I just was like it was like a validation that I hate that I needed. You know, I just was like, ooh, like everything was worth it. I am quite literally at the top of the mountain. And so I just wanted to really sit with myself and just like appreciate what had just happened, to really absorb and soak in what had just happened. And so I sat in my room with my briefcase all night. And that's what I did. That was my celebration. But it was like the best celebration I could have had in that moment.
Do you still take that time now with how fast-paced your life is? Do you still take that time to sit there and appreciate everything that's going on?
I try to. I try to now more than ever because it's so fast-paced. You know, it's always like, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next. And I feel like I don't want to look back in 10 years and realize like I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have because I was so hung up on what's next, what's next, what's next. So I do make sure I take time to kind of really just sit and be thankful and be happy and be proud of like what I've done thus far, just because you know, you don't know how long this will last and if you'll get these moments again. So I try to just like really appreciate it.
Oblivion is such a badass move.
Thank you. You know, no one's ever kicked out of it ever, right?
Ooh.
Never.
How did you come up with it?
I don't know. I was just messing around. I was just messing around one day. I think I was with Aaliyah, and we were training in the Performance Center, and I wanted to come up with a new finisher, and we just were messing around. And then I had done it, and then I texted TJ Wilson right away, and I was like, hey, do you think this could be something? And he was like, wow, I've never seen that. That's actually pretty badass. And then so I tried it on Ember Moon on like a dark match, and it got like this crazy reaction. I had just done it not as my finisher, as like a falsie, and it got this crazy reaction. And then I was like, oh, I think I'm onto something. And then so that's kind of just what happened, and I've just been rolling with it ever since.
And nobody's kicked out of it.
No one, and I don't think anyone ever will.
I love this great story that came out, I guess it was about a year ago, where you found CM Punk's AirPods on an airplane.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Okay, so I'm on a Tampa flight heading to Chicago for Monday Night Raw. A couple of us live in Tampa, so it's a couple of us on the flight. And he's just like right in front of me in first class. And so I'm just like, hi, I'm Gianna. And he's like, hi, I'm Phil. And we just introduce ourselves. I think I'd fallen asleep for most of the flight, and I wake up to him kind of like scrambling. He had lost his AirPods, and everyone's deboarding, and I'm right behind him. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's in my seat. Maybe it fell in my bag. So I kind of just stayed to help him find the AirPods. But he actually found the AirPods. I think they were like stuck in his seat.
But he said, like, you know, everybody had got off the plane.
Yeah.
And you're still there with him,
Yeah.
looking for these.
Well, yeah, I wanted to help him find his AirPods, and like I said, I'm right behind him, so I'm like, it's very possible that, you know, it's maybe somewhere in my stuff or in my seat, and I like to, you know, give a helping hand when needed, so I wanted to help out where I could.
You're just a hero. That's what you are.
No, I don't know about that.
I mean, you saved CJ Perry as well. Wasn't there like this whole thing about her house burning down or something
That was
like that?
my house.
Oh, that's right.
That was my house.
She saved you?
No, I saved us both. So, like 2 weeks ago, I fly home from Monday Night Raw, and CJ is staying at my house. We're best friends, and so she's staying at my house. She's like, do you want tacos? And I'm like, yeah. So she puts taco shells in the oven because she wanted to like toast them a little bit. And in typical CJ fashion, she hit broil instead of bake. And so I don't know if y'all know what broil is, but broil is like fire. And so pretty much my oven went on fire, and we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I know I have a fire extinguisher, and I only know how to use a fire extinguisher because of Extreme Rules 2022. And so I swear, in that moment, you don't even know, I'm like, thank you, wrestling. So I put out the oven fire, and then like it burst into flames again, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I put out the fire again, and then that was it. And then I don't know if you guys ever put out a fire, but the fire extinguisher leaves like a crazy residue, like this crazy residue all over my kitchen. So then we were on our hands and knees with like toothbrushes, like scrubbing the tiles, cleaning it all up. It was best case scenario for a house fire, though. There was no damage.
Yeah.
No damage. We cleaned it up, and it was kind of just ended up being a funny moment. But it could have been bad, but luckily it wasn't.
But no tacos.
No tacos.
Tacos.
And you know what's funny about it is I don't even like hard shells. I don't even like hard shells. So it was like it all would have been for nothing.
It's just too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only like the tortilla.
Me too.
Yeah,
They're so
yeah.
much better.
I feel like the corn flavor is like a little bit overpowering.
I feel like you're right.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all you could taste is like the corn, and it's like, eh.
Speaking of CJ, Lana, what was the payoff supposed to be? You declare your love for her in the Bobby Lashley storyline, and then nothing happens. What was supposed to happen there?
The world may never know.
We don't.
Me either. I don't know. I don't know. But I was just down for the sickness. And who knows? You know, I'll never know. So you guys will never know.
Do you still love Lana?
Always.
Well,
always.
then maybe there's a possibility.
Love her so much that, you know, I may marry her.
I mean, it just feels like that could have been something else.
Yeah, I agree, but I think everything happens for a reason, and for whatever reason, you know, it didn't happen, and I could be okay with that.
With all the fans you've been meeting this week, what's the one thing what's the match they want to talk to you about, or the moment they want to talk to you about when they come up and meet you?
You know, no one's kind of mentioned anything specifically.
There's so many, though.
I feel like they're just kind of happy to see me. They want to, you know, ask about Rhea Ripley, ask about my farm animals, ask if I'm going to be on WrestleMania. And that's been it. It's been kind of a bunch of different things, but not like one thing in particular that's been asked above the rest.
How many farm animals is it?
I think I have like 27.
What?
Yeah. I have.
Do they all have names?
Yeah. I have 12 cows. I have 9 chickens. I have 2 dogs, 3 cats, a donkey. That's it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Where do you have space for all these?
On my farm.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they just live a happy life. And I don't farm, technically. Like, I'm not homesteading. I'm not milking the cows. I'm not eating the cows or the chickens. It's kind of like animal sanctuary, and everyone just, like, lives their best lives.
So if everybody else is asking about Rhea, we should ask about Rhea, too.
Okay, ask about Rhea.
When's this going to happen?
I don't know. You're going to have to watch me. I'm being very particular. I think patience is a virtue, and I think when the moment is right, I'll know. But the Liv Morgan revenge tour is very much on.
I feel like we're in the middle of it right now.
It is very much on.
Yeah. So it could be Raw after WrestleMania would be really good. What do you guys think? Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Oh, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, you guys are just going to have to watch.
It's been so fun getting to spend some time with you. And I'm excited to see what's next. Excited to see what happens with the Liv Morgan revenge story.
You should be.
Oh, I am.
You should be.
What are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for? Because gratitude's such a big part of my life. What are 3 things you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful to be healthy and mobile. I'm grateful to be 10 years into my career and to still feel great. I'm grateful for my family, my mom in particular. My mom is my best friend, and she's my absolute biggest supporter, and she does anything for me. And I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my job. WWE changed my life, and in that, it helps me change my family's life and change the lives of those that I love. And I think without WWE, I'd be in a completely different scenario. And so I'm like forever grateful for how it changed my life. Always, I'll forever be a WWE girly. My loyalty will always lie with WWE. And I'm just genuinely happy and grateful and just ready to kill it.
I love it. We're excited to see you kill it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Liv Morgan, ladies and gentlemen.